here's what I find interesting. There's certain states, New York being the latest, that have passed illegal immigrants getting driver's licenses. And I've always been curious about that because, all it really is just putting, people on paper and giving the government all it needs to kind of just round you on up now, doesn't it? And they're trying to get that done here in New Jersey, but Phil Murphy has bigger problems. This is being brought to us by the Washington Post. Trump vows mass immigration arrest, removals of millions of illegal aliens starting next week. This is written by Nick Miroff and Maria Sacchetti. Yeah, Sacchetti. All right. President Trump said in a tweet Monday night that U.S. immigration agents are planning to make mass arrests starting next week, an apparent reference to a plan in preparation for months that aims to round up thousands of migrant parents and children in a blitz operation across major U.S. cities. Next week, ICE will begin the process of removing the millions of illegal aliens who have illicitly found their way into the United States, Trump wrote, referring to U.S. Migration and Customs Enforcement. They will be removed as fast as they come in. Large-scale ICE enforcement operations are typically kept secret to avoid tipping targets. In 2018, Trump and other senior officials threatened the mayor of Oakland, California, with criminal prosecution for alerting city residents that immigration raids were in the works. Trump and his senior immigration advisor, Stephen Miller, have been prodding Homeland Security officials to arrest and remove thousands of family members whose deportation orders were expedited by the Justice Department this year as part of the plan known as Rocket Docket. Okay, so Stephen Miller, you may not know him, but he's a bit of a firebrand. I wouldn't be surprised if he may have had something to do with this announcement. Deal is that, and I've covered this in other videos when it comes to migration and particularly illegal migration, a lot of these people are really sold this lie that, that we're welcoming them over here and by all means come on in. I mean, and of course not in all cases. I mean, it's such a nuanced situation in terms of immigration and individual immigration cases and reasons, asylum. It is very, the water is so dark and muddy and everything else like that. As far as going and rounding them up, I'm not even going to lie. It's a bit of a Darth Vader-esque feel to it, but at the same time, I mean, Darth Vader got things done. It's not like the Empire was just sitting there with their fingers up their bum, right? They was out there making it happen. So, in April, acting ICE Director Ronald Valeto and Homeland Security Secretary Kristen Nielsen were ousted after they hesitated to go forward with the plan, expressing concerns about its preparation, effectiveness, and the risk of public outrage from images of migrant children being taken into custody or separated from their families. Valeto was replaced at ICE by former FBI and Border Patrol official Mark Morgan, who has impressed the president with statements on cable television in favor of harsh immigration enforcement measures. In his first few weeks on the job at ICE, Morgan has said publicly that his plans to beef up interior enforcement and go after families with deportation orders, insisting that the rulings must be carried out to uphold the integrity of the country's legal system. And for as much as people like to trip and complain about our laws and the legality, the deal is that once government has you in their sights, it is what it is. I mean, I feel terrible. I don't want to come across as callous towards children and who really, like, children never asked to be here, but it's the choices that their parents made, and their parents made this choice, and under false pretenses, under duress, seeking asylum, whatever it is, they decided they made the choice to come here illegally. And so thusly the responsibility falls with them. If for whatever reason the legal process is convoluted as hell and just so much red tape and bureaucracy. I mean, golly, I'm not a fan of of having to jump through hoops and all these other things, rings of fire, in order to get something accomplished. But these are systems that were put in place long before I got here, and cogs in the wheel are just cogs in the wheel doing their jobs. So our next challenge is going to be interior enforcement, Morgan told reporters June 4th in Washington. We will be going after individuals who have gone through due process and who have received final orders of deportation. That will include families, he said, adding that ICE agents will treat the parents and children at the arrest with compassion and humanity. As much as they allow, I mean, like, that's the thing. They can take you in easy, but if you make it hard on yourself. U.S. officials with knowledge of the preparations have said in recent days that the operation was not imminent, and ICE officials said late Monday night that they were not aware that the president planned to divulge their information plans on Twitter. Executing a large-scale operation of this type under discussion requires hundreds, perhaps thousands of U.S. agents and supporting law enforcement personnel, as well as weeks of intelligence gathering and planning to verify addresses and locations of individuals targeted for arrest, which is why the thing I spoke of in the beginning of the video, driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. Like, if I were a smart illegal immigrant, there's no way in hell I would get one of those driver's licenses. Nope, I will. I mean, and this is very wrong, and this is a big part of the reason why we have to clean up. Tighten up our borders and the people that we have in here, is because, hey, get into a car accident, keep it pushing, run if you gotta. The president's claim that ICE would be deporting millions also was at odds with the reality of the agency's staffing and budgetary challenges. ICE arrests in the U.S. interior have been declining in recent months because so many agents are busy managing the record surge of migrant families across the southern border with Mexico. The family arrest plan has been considered even more sensitive than a typical operation because children are involved, and Homeland Security officials retain significant concerns that families will be inadvertently separated by the operation, especially because parents in some households have deportation orders, but their children, some of whom are U.S. citizens, might not. Should adults be arrested without their children because they are at school, daycare, summer camp, or a friend's house, it is possible parents could be deported while their children are left behind. And yikes. And that's one of the harder parts about this, isn't it? Because, I mean, kind of gotta send, like, I don't mean to be callous, but I mean, like, what do? We kind of gotta send them back with their parents. Like, yeah, when you get 18, come on back, we got you, bro. But, like, I mean, as of right now, while you're a minor, you're their child. I don't believe, like, but at the same time, I mean, they broke the law bringing you here. And so it's a very, very strange, very strange place to be in. I can only imagine. I really just thank God that I don't have to make these choices. But man, that's one of the harder parts, because I'm never for leaving a child without their parents, which is why I'm more on the side of, yeah, little man, you kind of got to go with them. When you get 16, 17, come back through. All right, we got you, but right now, you kind of got to go with mommy and poppy. Supporters of the plan, including Miller, Morgan, and ICE Deputy Director Matthew Albent, have argued forcibly that a dramatic and highly publicized operation of this type will send a message to families that are in defiance of deportation orders and could act as a deterrent. According to Homeland Security officials, nearly all unauthorized migrants who came to the United States in 2017 and family groups remain present in the country. Some of those families are awaiting adjudication of asylum claims, but administration officials say a growing number are skipping out on court hearings while hoping to live and work in the United States as long as possible. And that I got to tell you guys, I've seen that happen way too often as well. I mean, there's so much work that we really do have here under the table that, you can sit there and start together a pretty decent life for yourself. You can definitely hustle it up here. And that's one of the beautiful things about this country. You can definitely hustle up a life out of nothing without question. Publicizing a future law enforcement operation is unheard of at ICE. Trump administration officials blasted Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf last year for warning immigrants about, okay, yeah, we all talked about that. Yay, thank you, battery. The Oakland Mayor's decision to publicize. Okay, yeah, we already talked about that. So that was the guy who was feeling some kind of way, Holman, and Holman later retired. And last week, Trump said Holman would return to public service as his borders are on Fox News. Holman later called that announcement kind of premature and said he had not decided whether to accept the job. Schaaf responded late Monday to the president's tweet teasing the looming ICE roundups. If you continue to threaten, target, and terrorize families in my community, and if we receive credible information, you already know what our values are in Oakland. We will unapologetically stand up for those values, she wrote. Okay, so these are the two writers. Okay, so we're at the end of the what's name, and you're an American mayor. But California, I mean, like when I was living in California, right? It was damn near Mexico. Okay, I wasn't in San Diego. I was in the southern part of California, but it was damn near Mexico. Okay, so like I mean, El Tigre and like everything's in Spanish for the most part, and you know what? You get used to it. You pick up enough to survive and keep it pushing. And keep it pushing, but they definitely had that piece of California that was definitely basically baby Mexico. And you know, I can understand, and like when you have that kind of culture and you have you know, just it's just a part of life, a way of being, then yeah, I can kind of see how maybe the mayor can maybe believe she is mayor, like she's in a different country, but nope. No, it's still America, still the great old United States, and this is, I mean, if this is treasonous to an extent to sit there and just openly flaunt your disdain, and not just disdain, but be in open defiance of federal law, you know? So, people calling me. So, with that being said, I'm gonna bring this video to an end. All the internet stuff. Like it if you liked it. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. Share because sharing is caring. And speak. Let me know. What do you think? What do you think of these deportations, ICE, illegal immigration? It's all right there for you in the comments. Have at it. And until the next one,